Introducing Andrew, Arlene, Tatiana, Austin, Luigi, Garnet, Kamisha, Maddie, Ned, Olivia. Meet FCSN's Youth Advisory Board.
Hi everyone. Um, I'm on guitar. I am on the Federation Youth Advisory Board, the newly found Youth Federation Advisory Board, and I'm so happy to be a part of. And we have a great team. But outside of that, I do a variety of transition topics. Um, and I'm in school right now, about to graduate with my developmental direct support certificate, and and I I also founded my own social program.
So my name is Tatiana Thomas. I'm 23. I am currently a student at Mass Bay Community College under the Transition Program Scholarship, where it allows myself and other students to attend colleges.
Hi, my name is Luigi Vincent. I'm 21 years old. I work for Massachusetts Advocate for Children, where I'm helping advocating for people with disability in schools, and also I'm helping immigration people not go back to their country to actually stay with their family. I also go to UMass Boston, and I this year will be my last year.
Hi, my name is Andrew Carr, and I've been involved in connection advocacy and networking with organizations to help support social inclusion and access for friendship and outing events through access to community friendship and with Federation of Children with Special Needs. It's been a great effort to be collaboratively working together on advocacy and joint projects.
I'm Ned Reichenbach. I'm enjoying my life. Um, uh, um, um, I live on my own with nine other housemates. I have a work employment service at Boston College. And during the baseball season, I work for the Boston Red Sox.
So my name is Matthew Tricka. Just to briefly talk a little bit about myself, I am a college student at Middlesex Community College. I love listening to music. I'm just a music fiend, and I just have a lot going on.
My name is Kamisha Harivo. I go by Cam Harivo. I am a free spirit. I'm usually working with the Federation, and I'm usually working with my other job, which is Mass Advocate Standing Strong.
Hello, my name is Garnet Davis. I am a 27-year-old person with 3 disabilities. I go to Greenfield Community College. I'm a human services major and I live in Western Mass.
My name is Arlene Leon. So I age out of high school in June of 2023. I am a youth advisory board member. My hope is that I want to become an outreach manager for teen special needs for Chinese speaking families.
Hello, my name is Olivia Thompson. I am a communications graduate, currently living right outside of Boston, Massachusetts. And yeah, I love and rely on transportation every day. So,
What is your experience with transportation?
the main places I am going is work, school, and sometimes free outdoors type places. I call them can time. I use the ride and sometimes, let's just say I have a lot of stories. When it comes to transportation, for me, I literally have to plan my whole entire life out. So I can't be as spontaneous as I like to be, because I have to make sure it's wheelchair accessible. You know, I get from A to Z on time. I get picked up on time. It's like a puzzle piece, a big gigantic puzzle of Cam's life. But like I said, I take it day by day.
So in terms of school, I'm still relying on my parents. It's just one of those things, that really takes a lot of time to develop and fit in to their schedule as well as yours. I'm going to try out for the first time the LRTA, which, for those who don't know, it's the Lowell it's the Lowell Regional Transit Authority. So yeah, I'm gonna be trying that today. And that even that for me would be a big step,
Like I mentioned, I grew up just outside of Boston, Massachusetts, in a town called Somerville. And Somerville was the ideal town for me. There wasn't really a lot of car dependency. We have public transportation, but there was just a sense of independence, just in my daily life, but especially when it came to transportation, it was always, oh, you go do this thing, sweetie. My parents would stay behind and they wouldn't have to really drive me places. And I think that brought them a lot of joy. My family moved in 2011 further out, outside of Boston, to a place called Boxborough. And while this was a great move initially, there were better schools, there was better support from me with my disability. It just wasn't everything that I grew up with. There was a lot of cars, everybody was car dependent. It just meant that I was more isolated socially. And that really kind of sucked my spirit and made me not want to be my extroverted, outgoing self that I know I can be.
So I'm really comfortable taking the MBTA independently. First of all, when I chose Mass Bay, I knew that I kind of had a friend that goes there. So like what we do, we tag. So every time we go to Brooklyn Village or Hills, I wait for him and then we go on the west way there and then the same back there. I'm comfortable taking the MBTA, going to college. So I do that individually. Even I do that when I go to the Easter Seals, different organizations in Boston. I got comfortable using the MBTA. I used to take it a lot when I was a child. My parents used to take me on the train all the time. And then when I went to Somerville High School in 2000, when I went there, my parents thought it's probably better if I found like a travel trainer. So I met with a travel trainer from the MBTA, and she taught me how to take the bus 88 to go to Somerville High School back and forth. And she taught me to look out for the papers and say like thank you to the drivers even the cool thing is when we got back to the train station, she works for the MBTA, so she took like photos of the fare boxes to make sure those are working and report them to her boss.
When I was a bit younger, under say, I applied for the ride as hosted by the MBTA service, and through, before the pandemic, I was really independent, going back and forth to school and to different community on everything was remote for a while, but once the pandemic started to hit, they started to roll out this Uber pilot program, and that really helped me because it didn't have to be so timely, but I found out when I take the Uber Waves that I do need support to help me unfold and fold my water wheelchair. Just like anything else in life, not everything works for everybody. So find a modality or the skills and the mode of transportation and utilize, or I need to utilize the skills that I have and use one or two transportation modalities that work best for me.
Some of the ways I get around to these places is I use the ride. Sometimes they come get me too early when I'm still sleeping, and sometimes they get me late where I need to be at a place at a time that they tell me I have to be. I'm always late to, like, for example, most times I'm always late to work, and I'm so happy to have a supervisor who understand that's not my fault and I'm not one of these people who doesn't care about my job. Um, I relied on my boss and also my whoever I know. I make like good bonds for them to know that, and like I have to build the bonds. Like I didn't go up and like whoo, like whatever. I build the bonds. Like for my job, for example, I'm like they know like I do my work all the time. I'm a hard worker. I'm very reliable. And then after like my boss and also my coworkers see like, oh, I'm a cool person, like, and I have a lot of things I offer, and they like trust me and trust me more with um a lot of things.
Yes, I learned to drive. I went to driving ed school in Winthrop, and I think it was during my senior year I learned how to drive, and I took a few classes, um, and I had a few nighttime classes where I had to take instruction from a driving ed instructor, and the driving instructor was very nice. He helped me learn how to drive. He talked to me, and we communicated about how to learn the right driving techniques. And after going through the book and he broke down the scenario and explained to me before we went on the road what he wanted me to do. And that helped me sort of understand the rule of what I was supposed to do on the road. And then he definitely taught me to use the visual cues on the road and kind of be aware, and I kind of be alert of what could potentially happen on the road as kind of like understanding how to be a safe driver. I think the relationship I built with the driver was really I think we sort of connected about like the community and about things we cared about. I think that was helpful to establishing a good relationship with him.
The transportation I have for my job at the college, at Boston College, is provided by it's a state funded transportation. But if I have something going on afterwards, then I'm not going straight home from my job at the college. I'll be using the Ratchet apps with either with Uber or Lyft for public transit. It started with my grandfather, who I've been traveling with him on the MBTA. I'm just riding around on the on the trains and stuff like that. And then from there, I've been traveling on the buses on my own by myself.
I normally use transportation to FCSN office and to my home apartment with a wheelchair accessible Uber. I go on the MBT public transit buses and trains to do errands with my mom, and my mom comes with me on the MBT bus. It's because I do not want to get injured or get her on the MBT public transit buses or trains. On the MBT there's a rich link where people with disabilities please get asked for it to get on the train like smoothly, but it's always not available. The MBT bus, they have a ramp, like you have to advocate, like, oh, you have to like to the bus driver, could you please put the ramp down for me, please? You have to ask the driver to stop you in and tell the driver what stop you're getting off at.
I live in the rural area of Western Mass in Franklin County. I need to go to my day program, to my college, to just places in Western Mass that I need to go to, even the ER sometimes, you know? Could happen. I get around by my dad. I get around by my PCA. I get around by my sister when she's in town. In the rural town of Shutesbury, Massachusetts, it's in Franklin County, Western Mass, there is literally no transportation options at all for my town. Like, literally, you can look it up, no options. And I hate that. Because, like, there needs to be more transportation options. It would make my life easier and just, excuse me, easier, more fun, rather than being at home 24/7, you know?
So I was in Boston and my shift ended, and then long story short, the ride didn't pick me up for so I waited outside for 4.5 hours for my ride to come. Everything was locked or becoming unlocked, so I was like, no. So that kind of put a wrench in things. My mom got scared because she was like, "Where are you?" She ended up calling the police, and I was like, "Oh no, I'm okay." But like, she was worried.
Wherever you get public transportation, and that is, you have to rely on the driver instead of your mom or your dad, or whoever you normally drives you. And if it's like your first time going and you're very nervous and just worked up about it, then it could be very nerve-wracking in it, or it could give you anxiety, or a bit of both. I feel like the choice really comes down to knowing the driver as well as the driver knowing you. The driver might not know your disability, so you have to kind of communicate in a way that both the passenger and the driver somehow can at least get some sense of like what you need, and it kind of has to do with that trust.
Oh, the wheelchair accessible Uber, the WAV, is much safer, much warmer much cleaner. And I could be there alone all day long if I needed to for like longer commutes by myself, or I could be there with someone or just myself in general. The Uber drivers are like really kind and respectful, and they're really supportive. The wheelchair accessible Uber, they're not affordable is because it requires a credit card, and I do not have my own credit card. I use right now I'm using my parents' credit card, and I get the reimbursement from DDS agency, which was through advocates.
Most housing agencies will provide the training through a travel training agency. It depends on what we do in our personal lives and stuff like that. Like if there's like certain parts of Boston or whatever, we had to pick a designated place in common where and stuff like that about what train stop that I'm mostly going to be coming and going to and stuff like that. I work for the Red Sox, so I've been traveling on my own for I don't know how long now exactly, but into work to Kenmore Square.
So where I'm currently at, for kind of having a job, is I am currently looking. I am, like I mentioned, I have a communications degree. I know video and audio and podcast production. It's really about first mile, last mile, when it comes to job searching. So it's all about how do you get from point A to the train station, and how do you get to, on the other end, the train station to point B. And I know that maybe seems a little chunky, but that was really the front of my mind when I was living in Boxborough, was, oh gosh, how am I going to get from point A? How am I going to get from this place, my house, to the train station, and how am I going to coordinate all of these things?
What advice do you have for someone who is nervous to start their transportation journey?
Nervousness is always gonna be a part of us, and I honestly feel like if you're not nervous, to some level, you're not mo- you're not motivating in a way, because that shows that you don't care about anything. But I would say just try different things, and you can prepare like so much, but you also just have to, I mean, just have to go out in the world and do it. Because I find like the more you can prepare, um, sometimes life doesn't let you prepare. I think that's also true with transition.
So I would give them the advice to actually, if you are somewhere, find a friend that you have. Like, go and find a friend that you feel comfortable. Also, check out the MBTA travel training. They are there to help you. Also, if you see those people in the red jackets or the drivers, please, they are there to help you too. And especially now on the new trains in 2027, they're going to have test trains with type 10, and it's going to be ADA accessible. And it's going to be on the same lower level. Even they're going to have like someone on the train to watch them and see if they're paying the right fare. They are there to even help people know what stops they're getting off at.
Believe in yourself. Always believe in yourself. Of course, if you can find a course that offers travel training, like the school or whatever, take the class, and take a few chances to learn about it. My whole world was about traveling and stuff like that. life is important and life to be independent itself, not just for traveling, but for other things in life as well.
Take it day by day, because it's a new chapter, it's a new challenge. I know that I still have my moments of like, what am I doing? Where am I going? But take it day by day, like try your best. If you fall, you get right back up, as in try again. And don't give up on yourself. You know, it's a whole process of being independent, and I know I'm not done whatsoever. So it's just a process. It takes time.
I would just say if you're still like in high school and you live in Mass, join like the Connections program in your high school, ages 18 through 22. They will help you there learn how to ride like the PVTA buses. And Western Mass, that stands for Pioneer Valley Transit Authority buses. I don't know what it is in Eastern Mass, but like, that could be an option. Talk to your family, maybe see a therapist, maybe talk to other people with disabilities.
Well, I definitely can say driving can be nerve-wracking or fearful if you're not sure, but I definitely say listen to the instructor. I think make sure you kind of do what they're telling you, like you kind of do what they're telling you, and you kind of follow them, like you kind of like you're kind of doing things the right way, and just make sure that you feel good about what you're doing. I definitely say practicing with the instructor is helpful, and doing it with a friend or family. It's helpful to have someone kind of in the car with you when you become a new driver on the road. So that way you're kind of comfortable having someone else telling you, oh yeah, you're doing good, or especially someone who can kind of like give you that license or give you that ability to drive on the road or sort of license it. I think it's kind of helpful to have that instructor involved. And I think definitely talking to them about questions you have and talking to them what you're worried about and sort of breaking down the worry with that instructor, so that way they sort of help you kind of address whatever issues you're worried about and nervous about. So then that way you can feel good about what you're worried about.
I would say rely on your team, because your team will like find people or organizations that will help you with these. I would say like, yeah, at first like bring someone with you for you to not be lost. After a while, whenever you feel like you're safe and you feel like you can be independently, like try yourself and everything. Like, and if you get lost or whatever, like this is what I did. I had like let's call that like a tracking device that I gave my mom consent or whatever to actually, whenever I go somewhere, it can be a mother, it can be a guardian, it can be a friend or whatever, to track you, to see where you're going, and if you're lost or you go to the wrong place or whatever, call them and they would tell you like what time is the red line coming or what time the green line's coming. Use all your resources, because your resources are waiting for you, and use it wisely.
What is your vision for the future of transportation?
And I see disability become more of a nation, not just for like them, but for like everyone. And in the center is transportation, because you gotta go places to raise all these different awarenesses, and in a perfect situation, I see them doing just that. I see people like just going places and doing amazing things.
I would like to have free accessible door to door wheelchair accessible free of charge everywhere in Massachusetts, even to Worcester, Ashland, and Western Mass. I would love to be going to places alone and not have a support person or a staff member or anybody.
For the trains, they have a special flat area that goes up and down for the people who are physical, like in wheelchairs and stuff like that. But I think they should have those on the buses as well.
I think making like transportation more accessible is maybe like having like self-driving cars where people with disabilities have no licenses, even if like they need like something. And that would be wicked helpful because like most people with disabilities, I have epilepsy, can't drive. They cannot drive till we get them to 0. And like, you know, it'd be just helpful. Or maybe like more buses out here or like more other things, you know. I think like Uber should be less expensive, first of all. They're wicked expensive. And I think there should be Ubers like with trained medical drivers. Like let's say like I have a seizure and I'll like they're trained on what to do. Like they can like contact like your doctor or take you to the ER for like over a certain time. You know, like very helpful.
I definitely think like GPS systems on the road are important. Mirrors that maybe can help drivers kind of be aware of what's happening, and like navigation systems can kind of integrate accessibility features or tools on the road and kind of give you insight into what's happening on the road. So I sort of say like tools that can help you, and then it's definitely relying on instructors that can kind of give you those tools if there aren't like guidances or manuals, maybe instructors that might need guidance or feedback from on how to support someone, like if they are nervous or anxious on the road of becoming a first-time student. I guess sort of instruction how to help that student work through that anxiety might be helpful to instruct, because sometimes someone may not know what to do if they are anxious. So I definitely say guiding instruction to instructors in driving ed school on how they can help students who might be nervous or worried about their driving performance on the road, I guess. And that probably would helpful to me too, because then I would have to figure out myself back then. So I think if there's more guidance back then, you would have to figure out that much yourself. So it would be interesting if there could be more support for drivers on the road, I guess, or instructors, because then it's not just you figuring it out. You have something clean on yourself.
For me, like it would be for people who's not able to see. Yeah, Braille for people who's Braille who's not able to know what train is go what. We have Braille for them. And for people who's a wheelchair, they have ramps. And also for people who's not able to read, they have something that read it to them, to the person. And for everyone, no matter if you have a disability or non-disability, make it safer for people, make it accessible for people. Be the part of the solution, be the part of the next generation. Don't be the part of the problem. How I see it, like we come together. Like if we see a problem, we make us, no matter if it's big or small, to make our lives, the future's lives, better.
What is your call to action for anyone listening? What needs to happen?
When like the sky's the limit, figure out ways to be up in the sky with them. So give us just as good of a chance and actually help us, because we're just as capable of anyone else. It really takes a village, and you pretty much need and they need the village, and they need a good village.
For a lot of people, not just myself, we rely on public transportation, and as someone with a physical disability, I would even take that a step further and say I ultra rely on public transportation being reliable, so that I'm not rushing out the door to get a train and constantly having to put myself in positions where I'm feeling rushed. Recently, like we just got within the last not even 6 months, like the MBTA put out an app, and that has been really helpful because as a part of that app, they show the train times, the bus times. But I think my kind of call to action after all that yabbing um, is definitely to just get started in a kind of positive improvement. And if I could take it a step further, really allowing yourself to open up to people of all diverse backgrounds, especially those with physical disabilities, when looking at public transportation and reliability and station accessibility and all those fun things.
One thing that people need to do is get in front of everybody. When I say get in front of everybody, I mean like legislators. Now is like our time for the youth and the our generations to experience the world for ourselves. And I feel like if we are not able to do that because of of not listening, that is unfair. Not just for me, but for like the whole generations before me and after me. Listening to everyone is important, and having people at the table, like everyone, not excluding anybody else, is very important. It shouldn't be just on one person, it should be on everyone.
People should always advocate for themselves, either to the governor's office or to like state service agencies.
I want to go places on my own because having three disabilities is unique, and I want to show the world that people with disabilities can travel more and do more things on their own. And it's just we have power. People need to get out in this world, get out in this community, and just it's a good way for people to live. There are people out there who are homeless who even need transportation and they don't have it. Like I see homeless people like walking on the street asking for money and like they need transportation too.
So so there's a group called RTAG. So RTAG is run by the MBTA, and it's also run by Boston Independent Living. So that group meets monthly, and it's actually for people with disabilities and people without. They complain, to talk to people, and they're there to listen. So we actually talked about, like, since I go to Brooklyn Hills most of the times waiting for my friend, and there's no fences in the middle, so we want to be protected of ourselves, because recently one of the drivers told the kids, since it's a high school, Brooklyn High School, and they told the kids, please do not run in the middle. It's dangerous. Even at Riverside, there's no fence in the middle, and the MBTA drivers don't tell people which side to go on the trains.
Like if you're a politician or you're a senator or whatever, it can be a governor, president, whatever. Talk to those people who use these resources because they know what's going on. And also, I would also say to make the ride more safer, and also train. This is for a politician. Train these people like who we call like because like they're the first hand to get the ride, right? Like call them and like train them to be more gentle humans because like we have people with disability who can't handle people yelling at them, and I'm one of them. I don't like people yelling at me at all. Don't be a part of the problem because we have a lot of problems in this world. Don't make that be the one of them.
Let's keep on, keep on making progress, um, so we can move forward as a society, and no matter what people's abilities are or disabilities, let's bring them into society instead, instead of trying to, put them out of society or not make them feel welcome. Let's welcome all abilities, and let's continue to ride this journey and this train together. And that's